Assalamu alaikum. Let's start with experiment number 9. In task 1, you have to eliminate all the syntax and logical errors present in this code so that you get this output, which is age is 5 and gender is male, M-A-L-E, male, or capital M. For this purpose, a structure is created over here and it has two variables, age and gender. The data type of age is integer and the data type of gender is character, and the name of the structure is biodata. So inside the memory, two spaces will be allocated, one for age and one space will be allocated for gender, Gender, gender. Okay. In order to access age and gender, we have to define a new variable by the name of the structure. So we have defined a new variable p so that we could access age and gender easily, but I have introduced a pointer as well, pointer q, which contains the address of this variable p. So instead of accessing age and gender through p, in this task we will be accessing age and gender through pointer q. So q will be the pointer to this structure. Q will be pointer to this structure, and 5 is to be stored in age as shown over here, whereas in gender capital M is to be stored using this pointer Q. So there are some errors present. Eliminate all of them so that you could store and print the values of the structure using pointer Q. Okay, in this task you have to use GNU debugger to debug the code present in this file. So this is the code, and this code contains 10 functions, f1, f2 up to f10. So this function contains some problematic code present in some function which you don't know, and your task is to find or identify which function contains the problematic code or the code which is responsible for this message, segmentation fault. So if you run this code, if you compile and run this code, you will get this error or you will get this message at the output. So our task is to find which part of the code contains the problematic code, or which part of the code is responsible for producing this message. So for this purpose you have to use GNU debugger, and after entering into the debugging mode you have to place breakpoint at line number 15. After placing the breakpoint you have to use the command R to run the program, and after running the program you have to use the next command initially to quickly navigate through these functions in order to identify which of them contains the problematic code. So say for example breakpoint is placed over here, you run the code, the computer reaches at this point. Now after reaching this point you have to use the next command. By using next command the computer will not step into this function, it will not go inside this function f1, it will not go inside this function, rather it will quickly execute it and it will go to the next function f2. So similarly if you press the next command while the computer is at f2, then instead of going inside the function f2 the computer will execute everything present inside f2, and it will directly go through, it will directly go to the function f3. So in this way, use the next command and identify which function gives the message segmentation fault. So say for example you have used the next command and you have identified that function f4, say for example function f4 is causing the error. Now next time what you have to do, you have to run the debugging process again, press the breakpoint, run the program, uh, use the next command to quickly navigate through f1, f2 and f3. Once the computer reaches f4, instead of using next command you have to use step command, and by doing so the computer will allow you to enter the function f4, and now you can debug your code or debug the code present in f4 line by line by using the step command. So identify all the errors wherever it is present within these functions and try to eliminate this error or this problem which is produced by the code given in t2e9.c. And to quit the debugging mode you have to type q and then press enter. Okay, in task number 3, you have to complete this code and so that you get this output using linked list. So in the first part of this code, you have to create a linked list containing 3 nodes, n1, n2 and n3, and each node consists of two things. One is the data and the other is the pointer to the next node. So in node n1 the data should be 1, in n2 the code should be able to store 2 in the data field, and for node n3 the code should be able to store 3 in the data field. And notice that the pointer of or the address part of node n3 is null, it is null. So this linked list is to be created, and for that purpose you have to work with line number 8 to line number 10 to create 3 nodes. So this create node function is defined in linked list.c. So you have to include the header file linked underscore list dot h so that you are able to use this function create underscore node. So create underscore node has 2 arguments. The first argument is the data to be stored in the data field, and the second argument, which is missing over here and you have to complete it, the second argument is the node, to which this particular node should point to, or basically you can say that the second argument contains the address of the next node to which it is pointing. So this is step number 1. And in step number 2 you have to use the function print list to print all the values of the data field of the nodes n1 to n3. So again this print list function is defined in linked underscore list.c, and you have to include this header file in order to use this print list function, and by doing so you should be able to print all the values from 1 to 3. Okay, at step number 3 you have to now use for loop. You have to now use for loop to create nodes to store the elements of array A. So now you will be creating 10 nodes which will contain 7, 4 up to 6 in the data field, and each node should point to the next node through a pointer. But now instead of manually creating the nodes, you will be using the for statement to create the nodes, and just use one statement. Only use one statement within this for loop to create all the nodes for all the elements of this array A. Okay, now the hint for solving this problem is that first of all you should know how a node is being created, clear, and second hint is all of you know that how this statement works. A is equal to A plus 1, say for example, where A is some, say, integer and initial value of A is 0. So when this line is executed for the first time, the value of A over here will be 0. So 0 plus 1 is equal to 1, and 1 will be again assigned back to the memory space named A. And say for example I have written this statement inside for loop, and when this statement is executed again, then the value of A will no longer be 1, rather it will be the value of A will no longer be 0, rather it will be 1, and now 1 plus 1 will be equal to 2, and 2 will be stored in A, and so on. So 2 will be stored in A. Next time when this line is executed, 2 will be added to 1, 3 will be stored in A, and so on. So using this concept and using this function, you have to just write one line of code to create all the nodes of a linked list to store these elements of array A. Okay, so now at line number 4, or at step number 4, use the function append list. Again, this append lists function is defined in linked list.c, and you have to use this function to combine two lists, the first list which you have created over here and the second list which you have created over here. So used append list to to combine the first list and the second list you created over here. And after combining the list, you have to print the list, and that is already been done for you. Okay, now in the next step you have to use the command reverse list to reverse the elements of the second list. So the second list which you have created using this for loop, is all the elements of this list are to be reversed using this command reverse list, and after reversing them you have to print them right over here. Okay, at line number 6 you have to use this function is sorted, and this function returns 0 if the list is unsorted, and it returns 1 if the list is sorted. So use this function over here to determine the status of list n. List n is the first list, and the status of list n1 is the second list. Status means the status of the list, whether it is sorted or not. So the status of list n is 0, and the status of list n1 is 1. Okay, after completing the code, you should now determine what should be the data type of N1, N2, and N3. Similarly, the data type of APPLIST and the data type of RList. And for that purpose, go through this linked list.h. So this linked list.h file is present in lab 6 folder of Caltech lab, and this is linked list.h. So go through this file in order to get an idea of the data type of all the variables n1, n2, n3 up to R list. And at the end, you have to remember one thing, that in order to compile this code, you have to follow this uh, format, and you have to compile linked list.c, and linked list.c के साथ आपने memcheck.c को भी compile करना है. So follow this format to compile this file for this task. Okay, in task number 4, you have to complete the code shown over here. Complete this code so that you get the output as shown over here. So let's go through each step one by one. So at line number 13, basically over here you have to use this for loop to create all the nodes having data 7 to 6. So 10 nodes are to be created. So say this is first node, this is the second node, and this is, and so on up to the 10th node. So 10 nodes are to be created, and each node, the data field of each node should contain the integers stored in array A. So 7 will be present in the first node, 4 will be present in the data field of second node, and so on. And in the last node, 6 should be present in the data field, and this will be the pointer to this node, this will be the pointer to the next node, and the address field of this node should be null because it is the last node. Okay, at line 22 you have to create a copy of the first node. So at this line you have to write a statement to create a copy of the first node. So this is the first node, you have to create the copy of this node. So I'm going to create a copy of this node over here. So this is the copy of the first node, and it will be pointing to the second node present in the linked list. So this is copy of the first node, COPY copy. Now to execute step 3, you have to fill the code present in line number 24 up to line number 34. So what is the algorithm? The algorithm is that your code should iterate over each node. Your code should go through each node of the linked list you have created in step number 1, and you have to compare the value in the data field with the value in the data field of this copy node. So if the value is less than the value present in the copy node, then you have to create a new list L1, you have to create a new linked list L1, and if the data is greater or equal to the value present in the copy node, then you have to create a new linked list L2. So let's execute this algorithm in order to understand the explanation of step 3. So for example, you are currently at node number 1. You are currently at node number 1 and the value is 7. So 7 is equal to this 7. It means that you have to create a new list and the name of that list should be L2. So create a new list L2, and the first node of list L2 will be 7. Now move from this node to this node and compare this value with the value present in the copy node. So 4 is less than 7. Since 4 is less than 7, you have to create a copy of this node in linked list L1. So 4 is less than 7, you have to create a new linked list L1. You have to create a new node, and the value of that new node will be 4. Similarly, the next element will be 1. The next node will contain data 1. So 1 is less than 7. 1 is less than 7. So node this node will be created in list L1. This node will be created in list L1 and it will be linked to the previous node present in list L1. It will be linked to the previous node present in list L1. So similarly, the next element is 3, and again 3 is less than 7, so create a new node in linked list L1, and the data field will contain 3 and it will be linked to the previous node of linked list L1, and so on. So you have to create 2 lists over here, and up to element 6 you have to create 2 lists L1 and L2, and you have to iterate in order to create 2 new lists L1 and L2. And after creating these lists L1 and L2, you have to print them, and it is already been done for you. And in the last step number 4, you should determine the data type of list. So you should know what should be the data type of this um, list. Okay, in task number 5 you have to slightly modify the code in task 4 so that the function quicksort, this quicksort function uh, does an extra job, and that job is to append list L1 and L2. So after appending list L1 and L2, the new list containing the combination of L1 and L2 should be returned back by this function quicksort. And after returning the new list, that new list is to be printed inside this main function. The new list is to be printed inside the main function, and the output should look like this. So this is the function L1 and L2 created by quicksort, and this is the appended list or the combined list L1 and L2 returned by the function quicksort, but it is to be printed in the main function. So just go through this and try to solve this question 5. Okay, in the last task you have to create an array of 10 elements, and all the elements should be initialized to 1. And after creating that array you have to create a linked list to store all the elements of that array. So the linked list should be created with 10 nodes, 1 2 3 4 up to 10, and all the nodes should contain 1 in the data field. So first create 10 elements, 10 element array, and then after creating that you have to create 10 nodes of linked list. Okay, in step number 2, after creating this linked list, you have to print all the values present in the data field of all the nodes. So you have to print all the values, and you know how to print all of them, I have explained earlier. And in step number 3 you have to define a function add, whose job is to add 1 to each value present in the data field of all the nodes of this linked list. So you have to add 1 to this one, you have to add 1 to this one, and so on. And after adding 1, you have to print the modified list, and obviously the modified list will contain, the modified linked list will contain 2 in its data field. So this is the linked list before adding 1, and this is the linked list after adding 1 to each node of the linked list. Thank you very much.